today's journey, it's time to replace this old storm door. It has a couple issues. The latch doesn't work very good. It has no glass for the window anymore. It's just time to put a brand new one in there. So if you've ever replaced a door before, you know that you need some reinforcements. It's possible to do solo, but not at all easy. So I've got my stepson Cole helping me out today. So of course, first thing you got to do is you got to remove the old door, remove the old trim. Most of it came unscrewed. There were a few parts that needed a flat bar to pry off some stripped screws and whatnot. You see I've got my instruction manual. I just taped that up right there on the window area, whatever you want to call it, so that I could continually come back to it and look at it. The first step, I had to take the hinge side. This is going to be a left hanging hinge, and take the frame, put a screw in the top of it so that we know exactly where it's going to be hanging at. I then took it back off, cleaned up the area a little bit better, removed some of the old caulk, and reattached that hinge rail one more time. Following the instructions, I put a screw in partially, but not all the way, and it's one of those mounting brackets that you can slide it in place. So then you're instructed to take it off and take the hinges themselves, drill holes in the door through the spots that the holes are going to go, and then of course put your screws in. So now your hinge rail is attached to the door itself. At this point, you're instructed to attach the whole mechanism to that top screw you have, and then attach the hinge rail to the door frame. However, we were running into problems because, as you know, nothing is ever square, nothing is ever level, nothing is ever flush, and we could not get the bottom half of this door. The hole spots were basically at the very edge of the frame. They wouldn't secure in about a half an inch as they're supposed to. So we decided to take the door and detach it from the rail. And so that's what we're doing here. Actually, I think this is the second time we've detached it. We were trying a few different methods to get this to work. We were pushing from the bottom. We screwed the forward-facing plate of this rail to the door frame to see if that would pull it together tighter as it should be. That didn't really work out for us. So we ultimately took the door off, put the hinge rail to the frame, and pushed on that to get it secure, and then reattached the door. Right now what you're seeing is actually the third time we had done this process, because we had gotten it on and together by taking the door off a second time, I believe it was. And then when I went to test the door and close it, it was rubbing on the top. And I was about half a second away from shaving off the top of this door frame, just making a little clearance. This is where I want to give you some advice I've learned as I've gotten older in life. That was when we stopped and stepped away from the project, went and had lunch, took a break, and came back, took everything apart, started over, brought the door frame, that hinge rail frame, down just about a half an inch to an inch. Everything was fitting much better. And then we moved on to the drip cap, which you just saw me install here on the video. And finally, moving on to the latch rail. Now this door frame that we have, this area was actually much larger than the door we bought itself, which is fairly common. That's why door shims is a thing. So I had to put some shims in. I put 2 shims in. Rather than placing them traditionally, I went ahead and screwed them in and secured them because there was a large enough gap. I knew I needed all that extra space. That's what we're doing right now. Of course, we're checking with the door to make sure we get a nice, solid, tight seal when we close it, but not too tight that it rubs. And the screws went onto that by the forward-facing point. Alright, Cole, take this and feed it through the center one. Like, yeah, hold that up there.
I don't think they're big enough.
What are you talking about?
Like the prongs on this that are supposed to be like in the hole.
Oh, no, it needs to be pushed in. I didn't realize that was still out there.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think the holes are big enough for those.
Look out. Oh. Okay, hold that.
So I was right?
Well, yeah, I didn't realize. Here, hold it, Cole. Like, down here. Yeah, and get those to go through there.
Yep, they're through.
Okay. Watch your finger. Right there, I think that one's in. Now we gotta get the bottom one lined up and in.
And that's not lined up.
No, well, neither is mine. So. Alright, they should be both on there. Holy crap. Yeah, something.
Maybe it was supposed to be the other way with the spring.
No, because then there wouldn't be any. Maybe it should just be tight. So let's try to loosen this up a little. Come on, what's going on? We ended up turning off the camera and troubleshooting the latch. We got it to work perfectly eventually, and we don't know exactly what caused it, but ultimately what we did was widen up the 3 holes so there's a little more clearance space and made sure to clear them out really well. We think maybe there was some dust and stuff that was getting in the mechanics of this and causing the issues there. Next up, the storm door expander went on. That was probably the easiest piece, as all it was sliding it on and then 2 screws. After that, it was time to put the closer on. So you start with the mounting bracket that goes on the frame, 4 screws in that, pretty easy. 1 pin connects that to the piston and holds that in place. So then you figure out exactly where you're going to need to drill your hole to put the mounting bracket to the door on, and then 1 pin holds that one in. Pretty simple there. Finish things up with the option of caulking above the drip sill and then down the sides, and we'll be good to go. So real quick, I want to just tell you guys, I'm going to show you the door in a second, but Dollar Tree, or I like to call it $1.25 Tree. $1.25 Tree sells this all-purpose caulk, little tubes of it. And I've bought it 2 or 3 different times, you know, when I don't need it, like, oh, for emergencies. And I know better. Don't even bother. Like, it's $1.25, so it's not that much cheaper than regular, you know, adhesive caulk. And it's just so hard to work with. It comes out so thin. It's so messy. You saw me finishing up caulking this. That tube it's just easier to use a caulk gun in a real tube of caulk, and it's going to come out a lot thicker and be easier to work with. I mean, I feel like I sealed up, you know, the areas of the door that I needed to, but it's just a real pain. So anyways, here we have it. This door, obviously it does secure. The latch works great. Our old one wasn't working all that great anymore. I've got the chain on it to stop it from flinging open too far, although it doesn't because we do have landscaping timbers in the way. Closer works. Latch works. I did have to shim it, put a couple shims in this door frame. You know, this is the real world, and if you've ever done any work, you know nothing is uniform, nothing is standard, nothing is square ever. So I shimmed the door. Latch works good. Took about 3 hours total work time. We did stop and take a break because it was getting frustrating in there. I would say, got our swimmer in the pool over there. But you know, as I'm getting older, I'd say one huge piece of advice: when you're getting frustrated and the job's not working out, just stop, step away, and then come back. You saw us have to get into this 2 or 3 times. Get back, cat. Don't need to come out here. But we got it. As you see, everything works great. We got a new storm door on here, so sealed up well. We're good to go. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.